Does it look right to you all on the screen? Anybody?
It doesn't look like it's in presentation mode.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do love the fall decor. Good job.
Does that look right? It's like I'm seeing two things on the screen,
Yes,
so I'm checking.
it looks
Yeah.
correct now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get started here. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to our Workforce Wednesday of the 21-2022 school year for the Kentucky Chamber's virtual Bus to Business program. My name is Zach Gobert, and I'm a project manager with the Kentucky Chamber of Commerce Foundation, and I help to direct our Bus to Business program. I would like to thank our sponsors, the Kentucky Society for Human Resource Management, or KY-SHRM, and KCTCS for their investment in helping to bring classrooms to careers. We will be hearing from some folks from KCTCS at the end of today's session, so be sure to stick around for their great information. In addition to our virtual live sessions, weekly e-news, and critical job of the week's graphics, this year we have launched 3 additional contests for students to participate in throughout the school year. Students in kindergarten to 5th grade are invited to download or request a printed copy of our newly released Bus to Business coloring book. This coloring book highlights critical jobs in different industries, including construction, healthcare, equine, and manufacturing. Each month, students will be invited to submit their completed coloring pages online, and selected winners will be featured on social media and the Bus to Business website. For the month of November, please color in the Maritime coloring page on page 7 and submit your entry using the link below. Middle school students in grades 6 through 8 are invited to participate in a monthly contest encouraging them to learn more about jobs in different industries. Students can submit a paper, a video, or a presentation about an industry-specific job of their choice. Winners will be recognized on social media and the Bus to Business website and will be invited to join a special Zoom call with a leading Kentucky public official. For the month of November, all entries should be focused on the maritime industry. Last but not least, high school students in grades 9 through 12 are invited to participate in a video contest with prizes up to $500. To be eligible, students must interview a community member who currently holds or formerly worked in a job that they find interesting. Following the interview, students will record and submit a short video within 5 minutes or less, discussing what they learned and next steps that can prepare them for the job. Winners will be announced each month. For the month of November, all entries should be focused on the maritime industry. All of this information, including links to turn in submissions, can be found at kychamber.com/bus2business. This session is being recorded as well as live streamed to YouTube and will be available to rewatch and share afterwards. Whether you're one of the over 100 students tuning in live with us today or watching at a later date, thanks so much, and I hope we all learned something new. Today, we'll be hearing from a panel of employers from Rubicon and the Office of Energy Policy. Our Talent Pipeline Project Manager, Brittany, will be watching the chat for any questions and will lead a time at the end for question and answer. I'll now kick it over to Brittany. Thanks.
Thanks, Zach. Good morning, everybody. I'm Brittany Dawson. I'm the Southwest TPM Project Manager here in Bowling Green, and I'm excited to have Rubicon join us this morning. Aubrey and Danielle, would you all care to go ahead and introduce yourselves?
Hey everyone, I'm Aubrey Travis. I am the Executive Director of the Rubicon Institute at Rubicon, which is a think tank that we're building with inside the company to focus on various policy issues around waste.
Thank you. Danielle?
Hey guys, well, first, I'm so excited to be here, so thank you for having me. My name is Danielle. I am the SMB Sales Director, Small and Medium Business at Rubicon. I've been with Rubicon for about 3 years now, so quite some time. I manage a sales team as well as work in a lot of other different channels of our company, which is really exciting. And yeah, thanks again for having me.
Thanks for being here. Zach, I'll pass it back to you.
Nope, I think I was muted there. Thanks, Brittany. We're going to show 2 quick videos talking a little bit more about Rubicon and their company.
You are busy. You don't always have the time or resources to pay close attention to the waste and recycling needs of your business, much less look for opportunities for improvement. But when that service becomes unreliable, when costs start to go up, when you have questions about programs and your bill is so high that your current waste provider simply cannot answer, your already busy job becomes a stressful one. And now the C-suite requires you to improve ESG performance on top of simply managing your waste and recycling programs. It's a lot to handle, but Rubicon is here to help. Rubicon is a software platform that provides smart waste and recycling solutions for businesses just like yours. Rubicon offers a groundbreaking single-source platform called Rubicon Connect to help you schedule services, report issues, manage expenses, and track ESG performance for all of your business locations in one place. The best part? Rubicon provides full transparency and resources to help you take back control of your waste program and confidently execute on your sustainability goals in the process. So, let's end waste together. Contact Rubicon's sales team for a demonstration today.
Trick or Trash by Rubicon, powered by G2 Revolution. This Halloween, you don't have to trash those candy wrappers and send them to a landfill. When you join the Rubicon Trick or Trash program, you can help keep our planet clean by recycling your candy wrappers and allowing the wrapper plastic to be used again. Participating in Trick or Trash is easy and fun. Simply fill up the box with your wrappers and mail it back for the process to begin. But what exactly happens to the wrappers once they're returned for recycling? First, the box contents are sorted by material. Most candy wrappers are made of plastic, but if any paper, aluminum, or other recyclables end up in the box, these are separated out. The plastic wrappers are then put on a tray and put into a machine where any leftover candy is melted off just to make sure they're crystal clean. The wrappers are then ground up into small pieces, cleaned one more time, and then put into a big pellet making machine. They travel down a conveyor belt that is as long as 4 cars. This machine heats and turns the shredded plastic pieces into very small balls called plastic pellets that are used to make new plastic items. Your candy wrappers can now be used again to make new items such as the doggy bags used at animal shelters. Now that is a pawsome reason to recycle your candy wrappers with Trick or Trash.
Thanks, Harper. And now we're going to have Ashley Runyon introduce herself.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. I think I'm going to need to order one of those boxes to put candy wrappers in, because over at my house, all the candy wrappers end up back in the Halloween bag, so nobody sticks them in the trash, so that I don't know how much candy's been eaten. But anyways, that was super cool. My name is Ashley Runyon. I am the Assistant Director at the Office of Energy Policy for the state of Kentucky. I'm housed in the Energy and Environment Cabinet, and I have been in my role for about 2 years. So I'm excited to talk to you guys more about what that looks like in a bit.
Thanks, Ashley. And we have one more quick video from Ashley's office, and then we'll get started on our question and answer.
This is the most critical time for folks to be involved in sustainability practices and in careers. I would say it's one of the highest callings out there.
Hi, my name is James Mullins. I'm with the Kentucky Division Water. I'm a biologist consultant and the microbiology lab manager. I sample and analyze water samples and try to make sure that the water is as clean as it can be. I really like getting out in the field and taking samples, but it's also really fun to bring them back and analyze them. And it's real nice to see all of the data come full circle when we enter it into our database and actually see where it gets to go and what it's being used for.
Hello there, this is Alexandra Blevins, and I'm the Forest Health Specialist with the Kentucky Division of Forestry. I am tracking the threats to our forests, things like invasive insects. You know, I love bugs and I get to study them every single day, and I get paid for it. And I get to hike almost every day, and I get paid for that. What's not to love? I mean, life is good for me.
When they were hiring for the position that I eventually wound up with here at the DEP, they were looking for someone who could talk to people, who could bridge the gap between the technical and the layman. Whatever your interest is, you can probably find an area of sustainability to be in.
Thanks, everyone. And Brittany, I will now kick it back over to you.
Thanks, Zach. So Ashley and Aubrey and Danielle, I do want to just talk about your all's career paths and shoot you a few questions on how you got to where you are. So I know, Danielle, you're probably the most kind of in the weeds at Rubicon on what you guys do on a daily basis. Tell us what it's like a day in the life of your position.
Of course, yeah. So no day is the same, that's for sure. Every day is very, very different. Very unique, I would say, because recently we are completely remote. It has made it even more challenging and more different. Definitely opened the door for different opportunities. But I would say on a usual day, like I said, I manage a team of both inside, outside, inbound sales reps. So just working with them, working with different customers, overcoming obstacles, challenges, working with different departments, lots of Zoom meetings, video meetings, which is also fun, collaborating with different teams, going through like plans for next year. Obviously, it's the end of the year, so we're working on budgeting. We're working on different ways that we can be more sustainable. I work specifically in the small and medium business space, and we're actually trying to overcome some things to better understand our client base and what they care about specifically around sustainability. And we're trying to build out in our customer portal, because not only are we a sustainable company, we also focus on technology. So we're trying to find a way to, and it being, almost 2022, incorporate them both in a way that can help these small, medium businesses, but also be affordable, because that's really important too with everything going on in the economy. But yeah, no day is the same. Definitely different challenges, but also very fun and exciting, especially when you're passionate about what you do.
Right. Yeah. Well, I love the impact that Rubicon's making on our environment and helping other businesses make that impact as well. I think that's hugely important. I mean, we know climate crisis is happening and we have to do what we can to move forward from that. What was your background? What's your education and some of the jobs you had previous to Rubicon?
Yeah, of course. So when I was in high school and went right to college, I initially wanted to go to law school. I wanted to be a lawyer. That was my initial plan. I think my advice for any young people looking at their career is just to always be open, because to be honest, you never really know what's going to happen. Like if you would have told me even 5 years ago that I'd be in the waste industry, I'd probably laugh. But it's been really rewarding and exciting. But when I right out of high school, I went to college. I studied sociology, political science, and psychology. Right after that, I went to grad school for conflict resolution and analysis. So very, very specific, very interesting. When I was in grad school, I started my first career as a PAC manager, so political action committee. Okay. In DC. So I kind of got into politics, which was really, really exciting. And surprisingly, I did kind of touch on sustainability. And then as I worked my way, I got into more of like software sales in politics, which then got me to software sales and sustainability. So it was like not the cleanest, most unique
curvy pathway there, right?
Yeah, very
That's so cool. Yeah, but I think that in all of our experiences, Ashley and I have talked about this. It's like those little curves of the pathway lead you to where you need to be and help you really uncover that passion that helps you be successful in your career on a day-to-day basis. So yeah, absolutely. I love that. Yeah. How do you deal with stress in your job? So you're working with customers on a daily basis, and really a lot of what you do is customer service. You guys have accounts, you have to make sure that you maintain those accounts, and that your customers are being served well. So I know that can get stressful. What are some things you do to kind of alleviate that stress?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, especially with just like being remote too, because it's definitely just it's a different environment, and it's a lot easier being in sales when you're around a community. It's easier to just feed off each other's energy, and like if you're not having the best day or you're getting stressed, you can just look at your neighbor and talk to them, and we don't have that anymore. The nice thing about Rubicon is the culture, even remotely, is amazing. Like they offer so many different ways for us to be involved and take breaks and be flexible and travel, and also just have fun games. Like we play bingo and trivia and just fun. We do cooking classes. It's a lot of fun.
That's so cool. That's fun.
Very, very cool. But something I always, because I also manage a team who a lot of them are very young, first job, right out of college, and dealing with getting into the work environment and dealing with being able to be remote and work on your own and be self-sufficient, but also manage like your personal life and all the stress that's also involved. I tell them, stay organized. That's like so important. Just being organized, taking breaks, knowing your limits. Like I tell my team all the time, everybody's different. Everybody functions in different ways. Everybody needs different things. So communicating that and letting me know is so important. And letting Rubicon know so they can help in whatever way. And then just remembering your why. For me personally, like if I'm having a bad day or I'm overly stressed, I just take a minute, maybe go for a walk and just remember why I do what I do and the passion behind it and how it's helping not only future generations, the environment so much. And that really helps reduce stress levels.
The work that you all do is like just such a noble industry. I mean, it's so innovative and so needed. And to know that it's like a Kentucky based company, that's so exciting to me too. Like I'm a Kentucky girl through and through. So I'm like, yay, Rubicon. So I love that. That's awesome. I'm going to pass it over to Aubrey for a minute. Aubrey, kind of same question for you. I know you're on the foundation side. Tell us a little bit about what the foundation does. And like, I know, we have a high school audience, so they may not understand the difference between a company and a foundation and how those kind of work together.
Yeah, so I'm building the Rubicon Institute for the company, and we're a think tank. And so if you've heard that the term think tank before, they just build policy ideas to influence policymakers. Some areas that our CEO is specifically interested in developing policy in include space waste. So like all of the rockets and satellites that have launched into space since Sputnik, they're still floating up there. Very little of it comes back down unless it's like carrying people or materials back down, or it falls out of orbit. So finding policy solutions to incentivize space cleanup. Another area is rural and urban waste. So urban waste, you have problems where there's excessive food waste from grocery stores, restaurants, et cetera, combined with the problems of food insecurity. So people going hungry, or food deserts, areas often in poor areas of big cities that don't have any grocery stores with fresh produce. So finding ways we can kind of make those intersect and hopefully solve some problems. And the last big area that we're focusing on is waste as a national security issue. So a few years ago, you all may have noticed this in recycling in your households. In Kentucky, at least in Lexington, we no longer can recycle paper with the recycle pickup. One of the big reasons for that is China stopped taking a lot of America's recycling. So finding ways that you can build alternative supply chains, whether domestically or abroad. And so I don't know, you don't really think of the waste industry as being something full of all of these policy issues, but
national security.
That's
you
what
have
we're
the weight of the
on.
world on your shoulders. So that would lead me to ask you, what do you do to alleviate stress when these are huge issues that you're thinking about on a daily basis and working with your team on? So how do you de-stress from a lot of stressful topics?
I have a 3-year-old yellow lab, and she is a great way to de-stress to play with her.
That's awesome. We
taking
are
her
very
on
pro
walks or
dog at
playing
the
with her.
chamber.
Yeah.
That's great. I love that. So Aubrey, what is a typical day like in your job? I know you're remote, so a lot of meetings, a lot of Zoom calls.
That's very true. So Rubicon recently moved its corporate headquarters to Lexington, Kentucky. I don't know how many students on the call are from the Lexington area, but if you're driving through downtown, you'll see the Rubicon name across City Center. So there we have a small lean team that actually is based in the office here. But it's still a lot of remote work just as we, get the office finished up and everything. So on a day-to-day, right now, as we're building the think tank, it's a lot of reaching out to experts in the field who might want to, help with their networks, help with advising on policy ideas, talking to them, talking to members of the community who, everyone's affected by waste. Everyone has it. During the pandemic, during recessions, there's always waste. So talking to people, especially like academic institutions in Kentucky, that can, offer assistance from professors who can help advise us. So we're just kind of working on building the framework and structure, and day to day is a lot of Zoom meetings. You're right. Hopefully more in-person meetings soon.
Well, and I think that it's important to think about with the type of work that we do. This is a lot of brain work, and the brain work is exhausting. My husband is out in the he goes out and sells windows, so he does a lot of physical work. But, he comes home and I'm just as tired as him from being on Zoom and kind of thinking through processes. So it's very heavy on the brain work for both you and Danielle, I'd say. So yeah, that's much appreciated. I'm going to throw this question to Aubrey and Danielle, and either one of you can answer. What are some things that you all would encourage us to do as a general population? Obviously Rubicon is working with larger companies and small to medium-sized companies, but for us kind of just in the general population in Kentucky, what are some things we can be thinking about for our waste consumption and to be better stewards of the environment?
I think a big thing is just to be conscious of your choices as much as you can. It's hard to be perfect. There's plastic on literally everything. But if you can use reusable containers instead of like a throwaway Ziploc bag, or if you can use your reusable coffee mug instead of one that's going to end up in the landfill. Look to specialized recycling options. Like, try not to throw your batteries in the trash. Try to take them somewhere where they can be recycled properly. And that's something Rubicon's starting. There's a web page. I can try to send the link. We'll see if I'm successful. But for more specialized recycling options. So for example, a lot of people have disposable masks that they're throwing away every day right now. So there's an option for PPE recycling, something that wouldn't be available just in your, standard recycle pickup. So just trying to be conscious about your everyday choices.
Yeah, that's great info. Thank you. Danielle?
Yeah, and I'll just kind of echo what Aubrey's saying. I think in the marketplace she's talking about is G2, who sponsored Trick or Trash, and they're great. They have like boxes for, like Aubrey was saying, PPE, plastic bags, batteries, aerosol cans, just like specialty or single stream recycling, which you can put glass in, which but based on where you are, you can't put glass in specific recycling containers, commercial or residential. So they're really great. And yeah, it's a really good resource. But I would say one of the most important things advice I would give is to educate. Recycling in general is, like Aubrey said, it's very hard to be perfect. You're never going to be perfect. I know, speaking for myself, there's things I still am unsure of or don't know if I'm doing the way I should be, but I'm always open to educate myself and look at different things, as well as ask questions. Like, don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid you're going to sound stupid or be embarrassed to just ask like, hey, I really don't know. Is this recyclable? Where would this be recycled?
Sure.
Or should I be using this versus this, right? Like it's never stupid. You should always just educate yourself, read, ask questions. That's definitely.
I think that's really important for us as consumers, right? I mean, if you go to the grocery store and there's an option to like do non-plastic bags, whether it be paper or, the reusable bags, like just ask and find out that, and that's a great step to take personally. I appreciate that. All right. I'm going to pop over to Ashley and ask her a couple of questions about her job. Hey, Ashley.
There.
Hey, so I would love to talk to you about your passion for the energy industry. I know like jobs of the future is a huge thing with your all's area. So talk to us about some of those opportunities that you foresee. We're looking at maybe 5 to 10 years out for these students in high school. What do you think they should be thinking about right now?
I think that the future is so bright for all of the high school students that are listening right now. When you listen to Aubrey and Danielle and you hear about think tanks and the fact that solutions are being made for the future and that sustainability touches every single person's lives, it's just a really exciting career choice. And there are so many different ways that you get into sustainability careers. So I'm at the Office of Energy Policy. So while Aubrey and Danielle are focusing on sustainability through the reduction of waste and good solutions, at our office, we're focusing on ensuring that each and every human being in our state has access to the power that they need to run their homes, their businesses, and doing that in a responsible way, doing it while also ensuring that careers, as we transition different types of energy throughout the state, that we are not impacting people negatively, that we are replacing careers that might be shifting. And when Brittany talks about jobs of the future, one of the exciting projects I get to do at my job is work with industry across the state to figure out what jobs are they going to have 3, 4, 5 years from now, and what skill sets are needed for those jobs, and what training. And then Brittany and myself get to take that data and work together to create new educational pathways, which are with our educational partners, some of which we have on the call today. And so really, I think when you look at the opportunities that everyone has in front of them in the workforce moving forward, it's just a really exciting, refreshing time. And so I will piggyback on what was just said about asking questions. I think that goes for career choices as well. If you see that somebody's doing something you hadn't heard of before, or you're interested in something taking place, that you've seen in an article for school or you've seen on the news, figure out who you can ask questions to, because the job market is changing so quickly and it's just a really exciting time. So I would say keep asking questions, find mentors, figure out what you're passionate about, what you're excited about. And I can promise you there is an avenue in sustainability that will touch on your passion, your drive, your why.
I love that. Yeah.
That's my answer to that question.
That's a great answer. Thank you. I always go back to the passion piece. Like, what do you enjoy? What do you like doing? And how can you kind of navigate that into a career? Right. And I think what Aubrey and Danielle were talking about, like with that, that career pathway is not always a straight line. So be open to it, taking a few curves, maybe tracking back a little bit. I definitely experienced that in my career. And I think we all of us on the call could probably say the same thing. So, Ashley, what's a typical day like in your job? So you're kind of on the government side. What does it look like normally for you?
So the exciting thing, there really isn't a normal. I think we've kind of already covered and touched on the fact that, our worlds have all sort of changed and we're doing things through, technology. However, my job is always going to be about collaborating, because when you work for a government, and I don't know that I realized this until I started working for government a few years ago. Our entire role is to serve. And so if you have a passion for serving others, then, you can look at government sort of similarly to a nonprofit. And in order to serve others well, the entire way that you do that is to collaborate. So a lot of what I do from a day to day is collaborating with industry to see how we can better serve them. I'm also working on energy affordability and have an energy affordability work group that is taking place statewide. And so much of that is about working with nonprofits, utilities, really reaching my arm out as far as possible to, like Aubrey said, come up with solutions for ever, pressing issues that we have. So my day can be collaborating. My day can also be, I manage grants. So we work with the federal government and they offer us the ability to give out grant dollars to different nonprofits throughout the state that are doing great work in regards to energy efficiency, energy education. So I get to manage grants and see very cool things take place in our state as well in that way.
That's great. I love that so much. And I think that there's so many things, the collaboration piece that you touched on. I never knew until I got into the career I'm in now, how big of a deal collaboration is across our state. And it's so exciting to see business and industry working with government and education leaders and really truly changing the path of the world, really. This is a huge environmental undertaking that we all have. And it's so important, the work that you guys are doing. So I appreciate that. Ashley, I know you'll love this question. How do you balance time between your career and your family?
Yeah, so that's a good one. I have a large family. I have actually a 20-year-old who's out in California pursuing his dreams out that direction, but I have a middle schooler and then 2 toddlers. And so I have always been passionate about having a career. It's always been something that's been very important to me. My career pathway has not been a straight one. I have been in everything from working at the cabinet for at CHFS to working in the public school system and now where I'm at. And in order to do that and balance, I have chosen employers that value family. And I have really been upfront in my discussions when choosing to come on board with people about how important family work-life balance is to me. But on the flip side, I balance that by when I am at work and I give it everything I have. And so I think that it is absolutely possible to do all of the things you want to do. You just have to be committed to giving it everything you have. And then when you're at your max, you take a break. And so, on the weekends, I give myself time to go do what I want to do, go hike and go kayaking and things of that nature. But I think balance is really, it's difficult, but it can be done. You can have all of the things. You just have to be willing to go after all of it. And then also, I'm a perfectionist, so you have to let some of that go out the window. Can't be perfect at all the things all the time. And so sometimes when we have a lot going on at work one week, I just have to know that everything's not going to be perfect at home. And then on the flip side, if I have a light work week, then I'm able to put in maybe more energy at home and know, oh gosh, work is still at the top, but it may not be perfect this week. And I think just being okay with that. And I think a lot of you guys in school experience that too, when you're on sports teams and you're on academic teams and you have, responsibilities at home, and how do you constantly balance that? Really, your next step in life is no different. And if something's important to you, I would encourage you to go after all of it.
Yeah.
I really think it can be done.
I love that. Thank you so much for that answer. Like Ashley's she's my super mom, mentor, I guess is a good way to put it. So if you could have done something differently in high school, what would it have been? Is there a path you would have chosen differently in what you studied or anything?
I would have asked more questions. I think, where I've ended up now has just stemmed from having the confidence to be curious. I think in high school, and even in college, I felt like I needed to show to the world that I knew it all, so that I did not appear less knowledgeable than maybe my peers. But what I learned is, even a couple of decades into my career, I still don't know everything out there that exists. I had no idea that the career I'm in today existed just a few years ago. But the difference is I'm finally confident enough to ask questions. And if somebody is doing something that is exciting, I ask, oh my gosh, how did you get into that? What all do you do? What all does that touch on? And I've even found in my specific position right now, what I'm working on with the Jobs of the Future Collaborative with Brittany, as well as energy affordability, those projects that are so important to me are because I asked questions.
Mm-hmm.
I asked, can I work on these projects? They are meaningful and I want to be a part of it. And now I've had the opportunity to actually lead those. So to go back to the original question, in high school, or any time in your life, don't ever feel like asking questions or digging into things or reaching out to people. Like you shouldn't do that. I'm going to, share my email address with all of you guys. And if you all have any questions, please send me emails. And if you have the opportunity to be on these calls, the following Wednesday, and you see somebody that's talking about something that interests you, I would just encourage you to follow up. And if you're excited about something, pursue it.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I love that whole, we're all lifetime learners here. That's the really, I think, key to success is be open to opportunity, be curious, and don't be afraid to ask questions, because I never thought I'd be working with Ashley Runyon from the Office of Energy Policy on a collaborative, but I am. So, yeah.
And can I throw in one last thing?
Absolutely.
Might be running low on time, but don't ever sell yourself short and think you're not qualified for something.
Absolutely.
I am not a scientist. I am not a chemist. I do not have a technological background. However, I'm the assistant director of the Office of Energy Policy. And I'll tell you, when I ended up in that position, I thought, what in the world? This makes no sense. My colleagues are so incredibly gifted in the world of science. But I think you may have seen on that short little video, our director at DEP, her background is very similar to mine. I have a sociology background and I'm used to collaborating and working with children and families. And so they needed somebody that could connect the technical aspects of the Office of Energy Policy to sort of the real world and marry the two together. The reason I say that is your skill set, regardless of what it is, can be used somewhere. And all teams need all different types of people, all types of skill sets. And so if you're interested in something, but you think, oh, I'm not like this person who does that work, that's great, because teams don't need everyone to be the same.
That makes your best thought partner, right? I mean, somebody who thinks things differently than you, that's your best person to go to when you have a question or you have you want a brain dump with them. That we do that on our team constantly. That's a great point. Yeah. Well, thank you guys, Ashley, Aubrey, Danielle. Thank you all so much for answering our questions today and being on. I'm going to pass it back to Zach and Harper. That was great information. We truly appreciate it.
Yeah, a huge round of thanks to Brittany for hosting the session, and Ashley and Aubrey and Danielle for all the great information, certainly inspiring for a potential career path. And I'm hoping that all of the students that are watching this got some valuable information from it as well. So with that all being said, I'm now going to pass it over to the KCTCS team to give some information about their CDL and welding programs. And be sure to stay tuned, as some great information will come from this.
Good morning. I'm Carol Curvis from Hopkinsville Community College. Can you all hear me or see me?
Yep, we're all good. Thank you.
Okay, good. All right. I'm happy to be here with you all this morning. We're glad to have a chance to talk to you about some careers that you might be interested in. I have two of our STAR staff members with me this morning. I have Lanita Wilson, who is the Director of Program Facilitation and oversees our CDL program, and Lee Martin, our Workforce Development Liaison, who oversees lots of things, including our accelerated welding program. So I am going to share my screen and let Lanita kick us off.
Thank you, Carol. Good morning, everyone. I wanted to share a little bit about our CDL program, and we are one of 16 colleges in the Kentucky Community and Technical Service, Community and College System, KCTCS. And almost every one of our locations has these wonderful careers and opportunities for you. First is CDL. We are thriving in our CDL program, and we're always interested in adding students. And we have a CDL program almost at every location in the state. As you can see by the slide, there's a huge shortage in CDL drivers in our nation. And we're desperately looking for more students to fill those jobs, not only here in Kentucky, but nationwide. But we have tons of employers in Kentucky who are looking for that type of skill set to drive locally and regionally here. Driver pay continuously goes up. This field also is open to women. As you can see, there is a small percentage of women drivers. And so, you know, all the young ladies out there that are watching this, we encourage you to think about this as a career path, and we would be more than happy to train you and get you on the road to a career successfully in transportation. Driver pay is usually the big draw for CDL, so that ranges by your area that you're located in. In Kentucky, we have a great median wage, and there's lots of opportunities for students to make a great wage when they come out of high school. Right now, you're looking at drivers being around $47,000, and that's an entry-level driver position. So you can graduate high school, come to one of the KCTCS locations, receive your credential and your certification, and then go directly to employment. So that's a great benefit for students who are looking for something to start employment immediately. Now, your wages will increase if you have more endorsements or more specialized training. So that's an area that we always want to work on. KCTCS feels it's very important that we train our drivers to be very cautious, safe drivers. We want to put the safest, best people behind the wheel of those trucks. As you can see by this graphic here, the nationwide median is 47,000. You can make more than that if you're driving regionally or from state to state. If you are local driver, that's probably more of a realistic shot for you on your salary is $47,000. Now you can increase that again by having specialized skills or specialized training, hazmat, endorsements, or triples or doubles, those kinds of things. So how do you become a truck driver? You just have to meet our minimum qualifications, which is reading, writing, and speaking English. That is a written test, kind of like when you went for your driver's permit. You'll go through the same process for CDL. You have to at least be 18 years old. So once you graduate or you are 18 years old, we can get you trained and ready for a job in the state of Kentucky. Once you turn 21, you can then drive over the road regionally or outside of that. You must meet a DOT physical and pass a drug screen and have a valid driver's license. So our training at our 15 other colleges typically is 4 to 5 weeks. Ours here at Hopkinsville is a 4-week program. It's 160 hours in the classroom. The rest is compiled on the range and over the road. And you do make great connections. We work with several major companies to find the best opportunities for our students. And it's a wonderful, wonderful career for you. Has a lot of longevity. And as you know, with the supply chain shortages right now, transportation is a huge cog in that wheel. You have to have transportation and truckers to get things from the shipping dock to the store so that you can purchase them. So it's a great opportunity for you to think about. I'm going to turn it over now to Lee Martin, and she can tell you a little bit more about our welding program.
Good morning. Just like CDL, welding is a career field that is in desperate need of workers. As you can see here, by 2024, 314,000 new welding people are going to be needed. This is very similar to CDL, where you can make really great money. And so the salaries range from 41 to 89,000. Now, you know, the median is very similar to what Lanita was just talking about in CDL. So both of these programs that we're offering locally here in Hopkinsville and across our system of KCTCS, can get you these $43,000, median kind of salaries very easily. So so this is a picture from our Hopkinsville new welding facility. We just opened a new welding facility last October. So during COVID, we were doing a building renovation and expanded our welding facilities here. So not only our Hopkinsville location, but welding trainings offered at all of our 16 colleges. These can be anywhere from certificate programs to associate's degree programs that we have across, the state. And so they range from anywhere from 3 weeks to 2 years. We actually break ours up here in Hopkinsville into 3 accelerated sessions, because we find that a lot of people in our area, we pull a lot from the military and from the high schools. They want to come in and get out quickly and get a job. So the jobs are there and waiting for them. And so they want to do that rather quickly. So we have ours sped up into 3 separate sections. And so they range from 1 3-week class and 2 different 6 weeks classes. So in 17 weeks, you can get out and have some AWS certifications to go and get those jobs. And we help to match those with whatever your career goals are. So those classes, they are listed below of things that we do within our 7-week course. There are some other class options that are available at some of our other campuses across the state, and any of our colleges would be more than happy to share with you what their programs are if you're interested in this welding career. I'll also say not only, our company's looking for welders, but our college system is also looking for instructors in welding, in CDL, in all of these technical trades. And so we're always looking for people to come and teach other folks about this. And so you can see from this graph kind of where CDL and welding are being taught across our state. And so there's lots of opportunities, no matter where you are in the state of Kentucky, to get this training and to get connected with one of these great programs. Let's see what's next. Oh. Do you want to wrap it up from here,
Sure.
Carol?
Sure, I will.
Okay.
Let's see if I can make it go to the next. There you go. So we just wanted to share the contact information, and I know this is a lot of information, and if you want to email any one of us, we'll be glad to send the list out. This is the contact information for these programs at all of the KCTCS colleges. All of the programs are offered, well, they're all offered at least 15 of the different locations across the state. So we hope that you'll consider this as a possible career, and let us know if you have any questions.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for that information. I know that's definitely a great career path that's definitely in need throughout the entire state. So hopefully some students will see that and be interested. All that being said, thank you all so much for tuning in live with us today or watching on YouTube later. We will have our next session on December 1st, learning about careers and education. So I hope to see you all then. In the meantime, have a happy and blessed Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone.